I want to talk here about assignments in the gradebook, and what I want to say up front is that there are some bugs here. I think they may be bugs in Canvas. Whether I'm right about that or not, there are some issues. So I'm going to do this two ways. The first way is the way you do it if you are not trying to set up quizzes that are graded by Canvas, multiple choice quizzes, whatever. And then you can do some rather nice things pretty simply. That'll be part one. Part two will be what I'm going to suggest if you do want to use online quizzes. You can do it, but you lose one nice feature of the gradebook. So I'm assuming you know how to get into your course space. I'm assuming that you may not want this next steps list. You can click it away. You could always make it come back by clicking here. And let's suppose that you've got a pretty straightforward setup for your course. Maybe you've got a couple of exams and a paper. We go to assignments. Now, if you've got the setup that I said and you're not playing around with quizzes, you can get Canvas to keep track of weights. You can get it to weight things appropriately. So click this if it's not already clicked. And then you're going to use assignment groups. Assignment groups are categories of things that all get the same weight. So let's illustrate. Suppose that I have short essays, and that each of my short essays is going to be worth 20% of the grade, and I plan to have 2 of them. That'll be 40% of the total grade. I update this. Now I've got an assignment category, and everything in it would be weighted equally, but if I want just 2 things, then I just have to create 2 assignments. Notice that creating a category doesn't create assignments, so let's go ahead and create them. I'm going to create short essay 1. I'll pick a due date. Let's go back. Make it 20th of February. I'll grade it out of 100. I'll update it. There you are. I haven't talked about how it gets submitted. Let's talk about that when we create the second one. We want to create another short essay. You could create it from here, or you could create it from here by picking short essays and clicking here. Let's do it that way this time. Same thing. Short essay 2. I'll pick a due date for it. Say it's March 14th. Make it out of 100 points. And now I want to talk about submission, because this is an issue no matter which way you're doing your gradebook. Go into More Options. You can choose, if you want, to have online submissions. Then you'll have the students upload files, but when it comes to grading things and working with the files, it's a little bit complicated, and you may not want to do that, especially if you're trying to get a course up and running quickly. Eventually, I'm sure we'll all get used to it and it'll all be clear, but this is new, and so I'm going to suggest that you pick no submissions and that you tell your students to submit either in person, by paper, or if it's an online course, by email. You'll still get an item in the gradebook, but you're going to avoid some of the complications that it'll take a little bit of getting used to before you're probably comfortable using. So I'm going to update this assignment. There it is. Canvas defaults to no submission. It's going to default to letting you control this however you like, instead of giving students a place to upload. So we've got 40% of our grade here, and if we look at the gradebook, we'll see that over here we have the category of short essays. We've got another category just for general assignments. We can get rid of that in a minute. We've got a place to enter grades. Let's go back to the course space. Let's go back to assignments. And we'll add, we've got 40% here, just to make it simple. Let's suppose the only other assignment we've got is a final. and that the remaining 60% of the grade comes from the final. We can update this. Now we've got 100% of the grade accounted for except for this pesky default category of assignments. So it looks like it's 200%. That's easy. Just get rid of that, or you could set it to 0. It doesn't matter. So here are the two components of the course. You could add more. You could do whatever you like. They add up correctly. But we do have to add the assignment for finals. If you don't add the assignment, nothing will show up in the gradebook. So I'm going to call it final exam. You can arrange however you want to have it submitted. I'll grade it out of 100 points. Update. There we are. There's the gradebook. Let's take a look. So we've got 3 assignments. Short essays includes 2 of them. The final, of course, is 1. Let's suppose that the grade on the first short essay is 80. Hit enter. Let's suppose that the grade on the second is 90. You notice I just clicked on that little bar there, and that lets me enter it. At least this is the way it's supposed to work. I'll put 90 in here. And then, because these are equally weighted, they're equally weighted because they belong to the same group, Canvas has averaged them. It says that out of the available graded things, the student has gotten 85%. Final exam. Let's suppose the grade on the final exam is 85. Hit return. And because we had 85% on the short essays as the running weighted average, 85% on the final, the grade for the whole course works out as it should to 85%. This is an easy way to do things if all you've got are plain vanilla assignments like this. My only warning, as I said, is that you may not want to fool around yet with having people upload things electronically. This is probably all most of you need to know. But if some of you are interested in using online quizzes and having them enter into the gradebook, that's what part 2 is about. So, I'm going to go to a different course that I have, a sandbox course. And I'm going to assume here that I want to use quizzes. First point, you're better off making the quizzes up always by clicking on the quizzes link and doing everything there. I just found that when I try to make quizzes from inside assignments or from inside gradebooks, all kinds of strange things start to happen. Second thing, as before, we're going to go to assignments to get our gradebook set up. But because of the weird interaction between quizzes and the gradebook, I'm going to suggest you do not weight the final grade based on assignment groups. It just creates mayhem in my experience. So, we're not going to add assignment groups. We're going to add assignments one by one. This is easy, has only one drawback. Let's call the first assignment midterm. Let's say that it's graded out of 100. Same comments about uploading things apply. I'm just going to update this. And now we have an actual assignment, not just a category, but an assignment. It's already in the gradebook. Let's suppose you want to add another assignment. Let's suppose it is a term paper. Once again, suppose you're grading it out of 100. Go ahead and update. If we look in the gradebook, we'll see that these are both here. But if we assign them a grade, even if the midterm was not weighted in our syllabus the same as the term paper, Canvas would treat them as though they were equally weighted. So if the midterm grade was 80 and the term paper grade was 90 and the term paper was worth more, Canvas would simply weight them together. Now, the cure for that would be to use the kind of weighting scheme we talked about in the first part, But the drawback if you're using quizzes is that you run the risk when you start adding quizzes of getting some very strange behavior. So back up here to Gradebook and follow the breadcrumbs back to the course site. Now let's talk about quizzes. As I said, the best way to make up the quizzes is always to do it from the quiz link. I've got a couple ready-made. They aren't published. Students won't see them yet. I want to publish them. I'm going to go over here and do both at once. I'll click on Publish Multiple Quizzes. I can pick however many I like. In this case, there's only 2. Click Publish. And if the student were to go into the course space, into their own course space, when they clicked on quizzes, they would see these. We'll look at that in a minute. If we look in the Gradebook, we will see them. The trouble is that they're going to be weighted as though each of them is worth a quarter of the total points in the course. Grading these, don't put it in by hand. Wait for the student to complete the quiz. Let's see how that works. Go back here, get into Student View, click on Settings. Click Student View, and the student now sees that a couple of grades have been assigned. We already did that. The student can also click on Quizzes. We'll just do one of them for the moment. We'll do the history quiz. This is an assignment quiz. It's published. Student can take the quiz. Hume, empiricist. Descartes, rationalist. Locke thought that shape is a primary quality, but maybe the student's confused about that. Russell's view is neutral monism. Suppose the student knows that. Maybe the student thinks that Kant believed math was analytic a priori. Submit the answers. We're doing this from the student's point of view, pretending we're students. Student gets feedback and can look in the gradebook and see what happened, but the student is also getting this misleading information. That's the price you pay for working with quizzes. What you need to do is either solve the bugs that I think are in Canvas, maybe you can do that, or give your students a good, clear warning. Don't look at the numbers down here. They don't mean anything. They have to be properly weighted by what the syllabus said. Finally, let's go back and see how things look from the instructor's point of view. Leave student view. Click down here. And we see, here's our gradebook, that we have these grades just as the student does. And we also have this misleading set of pair of numbers over here, weighted totals. So either of these will work for you. If you're not using quizzes, the first one really works pretty well. You get these nice, properly weighted grades. If you want to use quizzes, you can do it. It's just, as I said, 2 words of warning. Always create and publish your quizzes from here. And when you create the assignments, don't use weighting. Warn your students about what things mean. So I hope that's enough to get you started. No doubt soon enough the bugs in this will be worked out and we'll all be able to do it in a better way.